Good morning. Today we are talking about hiring the most qualified candidates, One Legacy staff, fulfilling the mission of saving and healing lives. So why it's important that we hire the most qualified candidates. We must strive to hire the most qualified candidates because One Legacy's nearly 340 employees provide the complete range of services required to effectively recover donated organs, corneas, and tissues, to support donor families, and to inspire our diverse communities to donate life. There are 115,000 people in the United States who are currently on the waiting list for a life-saving organ. And according to UNOS, approximately 20 people die each day while awaiting a life-saving organ transplant. And that is why we do the work that we do and why it's so necessary that we hire the most qualified candidates that we can find. So some of the challenges that the Human Resources Department faces in selecting the most qualified candidates. Sourcing resumes to identify potential candidates is challenging. The qualifying criteria and hiring manager expectations can be vague. Keeping the candidates engaged as they move forward through the four-part hiring process can be challenging as well, especially if there are any delays. Evaluating candidates equally to avoid any unethical hiring practices. Determining candidates' cultural fit and job fit. That is always a challenge. And we can't quantify a gut feeling. So often hiring managers say that within the first 5 minutes of an interview, they know if they want to move forward with a candidate, and that instinct comes from their gut. And that's a very hard thing to objectify and quantify and then record for candidates. And the other challenge is encouraging hiring managers to utilize the resources available to evaluate candidates on the basis of being the most qualified candidates. And that would again be objectively qualified candidates. So those resources that we have include, of course, the resumes, the phone interview notes, the in-person interview notes, the references, and the caliber assessment results. So about those caliber assessment results. The results are the most objective and standardized tool that we have in selecting the most qualified candidate. It compares candidate scores to the key traits and responsibilities for the position. The results are predictive in job fit and job performance. It provides a score of 1 through 10 to match the candidate to the position. Each assessment costs $265, and each assessment looks at traits in 4 areas, regardless of the position. So leadership and persuasiveness, interpersonal skills, problem solving, decision making, and personal organization time management. The consultant call is available at no additional cost, and that call is available. We can schedule at any time. It takes 15, maybe 20 minutes, an opportunity for people to learn how to interpret those skills and what it means specifically with regard to that position and the candidate. So how some of our departments use caliber assessments. So unfortunately, there are some hiring managers of key departments that do not consider the caliber results when recommending candidates for hire and moving candidates to the final interview with senior leadership. And those departments have higher turnover and increased reports of errors, complaints, absenteeism, and disciplinary actions. So when hiring managers move forward with a low-scoring candidate, no objective data is provided to conclude that that hired candidate is the most qualified. Solutions. Here are some of the things that we are already doing to select and hire the most qualified candidate. The Human Resources Department has successfully centralized recruiting and sources resumes, conducts phone interviews, and schedules in-person interviews with the candidates. We also administer the personality assessments in our office for every candidate as the third step in the hiring process. The results of the assessment are provided to the hiring manager to consider when deciding to move forward with the candidate to the final interview. We have those results within 48 hours after the candidate has taken the assessment. So it's not as if we're asking hiring managers to wait a week before they decide if they want to move forward with the candidate. And this process has resulted in 67 new hires for 2018. So some more solutions on the things that we can do to better improve our ability to select and hire the most qualified candidate. If a hiring manager chooses to move forward with a candidate scoring of 5 and below on the caliber assessment, they will be required to complete a consulting call with the trained Caliper consultant, again, available at no cost. The consultant will help the hiring manager to understand the results and how they may impact the candidate's job fit and job performance. Also, how it's going to impact the department. We've all had one of those coworkers whose negativity or poor work ethic has brought down not only their own job performance, but also the performance of the department. And we're also going to ask that all hiring managers complete a candidate summary form to include the relevant criteria, reduce subjectivity, and increase transparency. So here's just an example of what that candidate summary form is going to look like. So it has the candidate name, in this case, Yamilet Hernandez, her education level, her relevant certifications, her years of relevant experience, her Caliper score, and then any additional notes. So in this case, Yamilet is bilingual in Spanish and English, and she volunteered on the Donate Life Rose Parade Float 2013. So as you can see, this is very simple. It's not going to be time consuming for the hiring managers, but it's also very objective. There are things that are just going to be very easy to document and then file, whether we move forward with the candidate or we do not. So the benefits of the candidate summary form. As I noted, the standardized form means that all candidates are evaluated equally. The expectations of what constitutes a qualified candidate are also standardized and clear. Senior leadership conducting the final interview have the relevant information in one concise and standardized form, because we also have to be respectful of the hiring of the senior leadership members' time, and it's easier for them to review this than go through the 11 pages of the Caliper results, the 2 pages of the resume, the assorted interview notes. It's also going to increase transparency to reduce the risk of favoritism, discrimination, or other unethical hiring practices. It ensures that all relevant factors are considered, specifically Caliper scores, in evaluating the candidates. It still allows the hiring manager the latitude to move forward with any candidate of their choosing, as long as they can successfully document that rationale in the form. And of course, most importantly, it's going to assist us in selecting and hiring the most qualified candidate. Thank you for your time.